Your lesson essential question is, how do we compare two versions of the same story from different cultures? So we are going to continue comparing texts, and we're going to be looking at two versions of the same story from different cultures. You remember last week when we compared two pictures from two versions of Little Red Riding Hood. This week we're going to be comparing two versions of the Three Little Pigs. First, let's review. We know that characters respond to events and challenges throughout stories and often learn a lesson. We call this lesson a moral or central message. So actually in these two stories that we're reading this week, the characters will learn a lesson. Stories might present different versions that teach the same lesson, and of course they could be different lessons too, but still be very similar. So the first thing we're going to do when we're looking for comparisons is we're going to look at the characters and the setting. So you're very used to identifying characters and setting as soon as you start reading. So we'll look for those first, and those are the easiest things to compare and contrast. Then we'll look at the plot. So we'll identify the problem at the beginning. We'll continue reading. We'll identify how the character or characters respond throughout the story. And then, of course, we'll look for the solution. At the end of our reading, we can identify the lesson or the moral or the central message. We know all three of those words mean the exact same thing. And then it will be time for us to compare the two stories. So like I said, this week we're looking at these two stories, The Three Geese and The Three Little Pigs. I'm going to start reading The Three Little Pigs with you today, and we'll identify some of those main parts of the plot, and then you're going to do the same thing with The Three Geese on your own. The Three Little Pigs. Long ago, three little pigs grew up and left their family home. One built a straw house, one built a wood house, and one built a brick house. So, who are the main characters of this story? All right, our main characters are the three little pigs. What were their houses made of? Okay, they were made of wood, straw, and brick. One day a wolf found the straw house. "Let me in, little pig," he called. "I won't," said the first pig. "Then I'll huff, I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in," cried the wolf. That's just what he did, and the house fell apart. The little pig squeaked and ran to his brother's wood house. But the wolf soon found the wood house too. "Let me in, little pigs." "Never," yelled the two brothers. "Then I'll huff, I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in." The wolf blew hard, and the house fell down. The two brothers squeaked and ran to their brother's brick house. I want to stop there for a second. Who is causing the problems in this story? You're right, the wolf is causing the problems. What is the problem that he's causing? So the wolf is causing a problem because he's going and huffing and puffing and blowing these pigs' houses down. Let's see what happens when he goes to the last house. The wolf followed them. "Let me in, little pigs." "We won't," they all cried. "Then I'll huff, I'll puff, and I'll blow your house in," the wolf growled. But this time he couldn't blow it down. So he crawled up on the roof and slid down the chimney. He fell into a pot of boiling water the pigs had put in the fireplace. The wolf never bothered the pigs again. So we read that The brick house is the one that ends up staying up. And how is he stopped in the end? He's stopped by going down the chimney and falling in a pot of boiling water. So the problem was solved in the end by him being burned in this boiling water, right? So your job now is on your own. You're going to be reading the three geese, and you're going to be identifying all of these important parts of the plot on your own. So you'll probably have to draw this graphic organizer. So I'm going to be posting it for you in today's folder, and you're going to have to draw this in your notebook so that you can identify these things. And then tomorrow we'll go over the answers.